Eddie Howe's just been speaking to the press ahead of that game against Fulham. It's a very hectic time for Newcastle. 3 games in the last few days. That win against West Ham, the draw against Everton, and now heading to Fulham to try and make it as positive a week as possible. Eddie Howe in there talking about the point against Everton, saying that it will look a better point if Newcastle can get the 3 points at Craven Cottage this weekend. And I think he's absolutely right, because 7 points from 9 is not a bad haul in the Premier League, especially at this stage in the season. And I think if you look at the league table, it's just so tight at the minute. Newcastle know that putting back-to-back wins together could be everything in the next couple of games, because really last night in isolation, Man United against Chelsea, had Man United won that game, which it was looking like they were going into the 98th minute, there would have been a huge gap between Newcastle and Man United for that Europa League slot. But the game turned very quickly, Chelsea winning 4-3, and suddenly it's all very tight again above Newcastle. So they've got to continue to look up, they've got to continue to try and get at least the Europa Conference League place, but ultimately you've got to respect that this league is very unforgiving, and it's going to be down to putting that run together, which Newcastle haven't done. I asked Eddie Howe in there about the reasons why Newcastle have had this inconsistent season, and you know, not just down to injuries, down to a lot of different things, adjustments, expectation, so many different factors going into this one. But really, I think had Newcastle been offered a European place at the start of March, then they would absolutely taken it, because they were sitting in 10th place at that point after losing to Chelsea, and they've since recovered a little bit, picking up those 4 points and breathing new life into the season. So there's still so much to play for, 8 games to go. Eddie Howe knowing that he's going to be judged on these 8 games pretty much in the way he's been judged all season, but ultimately the final league position is what you take into next season. So hopefully Newcastle can get something at Fulham. It's a ground where it's been a happy hunting ground. They won there in the FA Cup, they won there last season in a brilliant 4-1 win in the sunshine that day, and also a lucky ground for Sean Longstaff, has scored twice on his last 2 visits. So let's hope he can rekindle that in the capital this weekend.